rankings at the moment.
Yeah, and
that
we can only take
shows how much
3.
they're dominating. But yeah, only space for 3 per country. So we've got this internal battle with Team Japan at the moment, trying to knock each other out from those 24 spots at the Olympics. But yeah, 3 per country, it's pretty tight.
That's very heavy, especially for Japan.
So it looks like they're clearing the course off. Marco down there.
Yeah, and props to Japan. Just every year they have new competitors that are just changing the game. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, we're watching in real time, Chris, an exponential growth in women's skateboarding. The level is just, every event, it jumps up that little bit more.
Yeah, we had Alyssa Steamer and a handful of pros, but there wasn't women exclusive events back then.
So Yumika, all smiles there, saying she's ready to go. This is it. Women's semi-final, heat number 1. Starting at 45 seconds and kicking it off lovely with a front blunt slide there, Chris.
Nice and locked in. Solid kickflip. Yeah, she's only 16 years old. Placed 3rd in Rome just recently. Nice frontside feeble. That's a scary trick on that obstacle.
Yeah, pointing that front toe, taking it all the way to the end. And I mean, that your board wants to flip over on that if you don't get your feet in the right place, but that was perfect. So last few seconds of run number 1 of 2. Getting off that bump to ledge that we were saying about.
I like that obstacle. Solid crooked grind.
Do you know what? That's going to be such a confidence booster to get a solid, full, complete first 45-second run.
Yeah, that really builds someone's confidence
When
up.
you get a score on the board and it's a full score, that sets where everyone else is getting judged in this semi-finals from and to.
Yeah, we used to call them safety run, but I don't think there's anything safe about any of these runs.
That's for sure. Speaking the truth there,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
you build off that confidence, that consistency, and then you just better your score moving through the semifinals into the finals.
But that gives Yumika a little bit of comfort room to maybe step it up on the next one. Maybe start flipping in, flipping out of something, shove it in, shove it out. But to get that full rundown and solid tricks, that was a lovely kickflip right there. So eagerly waiting for that score to come in. 58.07 on the board. Solid first run score there,
Definitely, definitely. That's a good score, especially for the first round.
Something I noticed yesterday was the judges were quite critical on certain runs out there, and I was thinking, wow, that's quite low, but then they were really rewarding the higher tricks.
Yes.
So Paige dropping in for run number 1, kicking off with a lovely backside 50-50.
Yeah, our only USA competitor.
Yeah, I mean, throughout history, we've always seen US skaters, certainly in semi-finals, but things are changing up out here in Lausanne.
Nice Smith grind. See that backside disaster. Paige, only 15 years old. It's amazing.
Whoa, wow, hanging on to that front 50.
That sounds
switch front 50.
I could be wrong. Let's see
the back strut was trying to come off, but composing and coming back.
Grind. Coming out of Tempe, Arizona. Shout out to the Cowtown crew.
Whoa! Getting the switch flip done afterwards.
Hey, wow. I like the switch tricks in a run. I like that.
Well, shout out to Chloe Covell doing all the switch tricks before. I mean, in Sharjah, she was bringing those switch tricks in, and now we're seeing that progression.
Yes.
You know, you see that start rippling through the rest of the
kickflip into grinds, and kickflip grinds, and crooked grinds. So, yeah, the women's field is getting heavy.
So lovely frontside Smith grind.
Yeah. You got to get way on top of that rail.
There's a switch frontside 50-50. And then came cruising back across for a lovely, long, crooked grind. That ledge is deceptively long as well. So
props from her pops there. That's cool to see the family supporting skateboarding these days.
63.92. So this is what I was saying earlier. The judges are really rewarding that progression. So that's pushing the progression of skateboarding. That was what World Skate always said from the outset of this journey.
We're going to push competition.
Yeah, they're pushing the progression. So So Wenhui Zoe Zheng dropping in for run number 1, starting off with a lovely kickflip.
Yeah, coming out of China. Nice lip slide there. Hustling.
Yeah, AKA the Beast. You can see why, just handling that frontside 50-50 like it was nothing.
Yeah, I love when you see competitors run with their board, just like, I'm getting this trick in. Nice backside tail slide.
Tail, yeah, solid.
Like I was saying with those vertical slats, you really have to be on top of your board on tricks.
Stepping out to the frontside nose grind, made that look so easy. Time for one last trick. She got there a bit soon, I think, Chris.
Solid run, man. I always say that falling can be contagious, and consistency can be contagious.
Yeah, I think so.
So we've seen 3 consistent runs.
Well, I think you see it. Someone's like, okay, first run, full run. Second run, full run. I can't not make a full run.
Yeah, I think skaters definitely feed off each other's energy.
But it shows the knowledge that people go into these runs with, and that competition experience as well. Like, okay, the judges are rewarding something. They change their run up on the fly. Yeah,
and you called it. They're trying to kind of get one run in the books, maybe hold back some stuff that you're going to show in run number 2. And also in the best trick. I think people that are smart competitors hold on to some tricks you haven't seen in the run section.
Yeah, for sure. They want to surprise the judges and shock them mainly. So waiting for run number 1.
And on runs, I used to always say start with a bang and end with a bang, just for the judges.
So 63.93 for first place. 60.39, so jumping straight into second.
All right.
Looking very happy with that. And I know that the potential that Zoe's got, I've seen things that I'm pretty sure shouldn't be done, and she's on it, and I hope that potential gets unleashed.
Yes.
So, Beaulieu Yuto dropping in for run number 1, 45 seconds on the clock, hitting up that long rail with a big front blunt. Team Japan loving those front blunts.
Nice back tail. Nice solid kickflip.
Yeah, caught that really well. Cruising back across to that driveway with a gap out to board slide. Seems to be flavor of the month that at the moment.
Like we said, hopefully they're all staying on, getting a good first run score, and we're going to see some more difficult tricks as the competition moves forward.
Yeah, lovely backside lip slide now coming back into the big section. Front feeble.
I think that's the first fall we've seen. 4 runs.
Which is nuts.
And she was going for that frontside feeble. You see that rail on top of the hubba. As I said, that thing's an intimidating obstacle.
Something that's worth mentioning is that the California Skate Parks crew, I was talking to Bill earlier, they built this skate park in 4 days over a fountain.
That is unbelievable. That is seriously unbelievable. Props.
So, coming in to that frontside feeble.
Yeah.
Back foot maybe just not locking it in.
Yeah, she had to start turning out a little bit sooner.
But you know what shows a skilled and seasoned skateboarder is knowing how to fall off as well. I always say to people, don't learn how to skate first, learn how to fall off.
I was sitting up close in practice, and just skaters are like cats these days. How they get out of falls on these rails and hubbas is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And it's about that recovery, and then also the mental game of, okay, I've got another run. It's not over yet. Some people will be like, no, I haven't got my safety running.
For sure. And like I said, then hopefully we'll see some totally different tricks in the best trick format.
So 47.77 coming in there as we move on to Kemily out of Brazil. I was impressed with Kemily yesterday, absolutely smashing it during practice. Linking together some really long, good lines.
Yeah, we talked about the Japanese talent. There is a ton of Brazilian talent out here as well. Nice 5-0 grind.
5-0, yeah, looking good. I think sometimes it's about that composure and not letting anybody get into your head as well. Like, okay, I've seen 3 solid runs. The 4th one was a solid run apart from the last trick.
Just at the end.
That could play with your mind a little bit.
Nice back lip. Yeah, the obstacles out here are fairly mellow, but I think that's good. It really pulls out the creativity and the difficulty.
Yeah, just coming off of that last crooked grind. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Brazil have got such a legacy of great skateboarding, right?
Yeah, really. And just building on, you know, almost like Japan. Every year there's new faces, new competitors, and they're cracking into the top 8. And
we would have seen Rodel Jr. here in Switzerland like 20-odd years ago,
yeah,
right?
Seriously.
And now the new generation.
Carlos de Andrade.
Yeah. The new generation are now taking the reins and getting involved. This is how we kicked it off with the big feeble grind for Kemmerly. Backside 5-0. Just not making that last trick, which I think is going to affect that score. Yeah, quite a drastic one. 33.83. She's not looking happy with that, but knows why. Going to have to step up as we go on to runs number 2. But next up, fellow Brazilian Rayssa Leal. She's come a long way since doing that heel flip in the fairy outfit, right?
Yeah, that was an Instagram sensation about a decade ago. And here she is, seriously handling competitions. One of the top competitors in the game. Nice backside lip slide there.
Yeah, that's a way to kick it off. And just look how chilled she is. And one thing that I love about Rayssa's skating is that she smiles all the time through it, because she genuinely is having the best time.
Yeah, yeah. Nice front blunt there. Nyjah really moving through this run well so far. It's a gap to lip.
That looked like it was nothing for her, because I think it pretty much wasn't, right?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. She's been in our, you know, in our brain since that Instagram clip. She's only 15 years old and almost feels like a veteran, just how well she does in competition. Nice front feeble there. That front feeble on that obstacle is scary. So many different ways you can lock up.
But it was the way, like, you could see she'd already landed it before she'd taken off.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that whole confidence, and a lot of skateboarding is just being confident and not psyching yourself out.
100%. Yeah, she's won an X Games competition, got 4th in Rome. She definitely knows what it takes.
You
won the SLS Rio Super Crown.
You mentioned about being an Instagram sensation. Definitely check out the World Skate SB Instagram to stay up to date with everything World Skate skateboarding. Lovely gap out, frontside lip slide.
There's that front feeble.
Look at the control. The back foot perfectly locked in the pocket there.
Yeah.
That's the controlling foot, and the front foot's just along for the ride, just pointing it in the right direction.
Yeah, you really have to get on top of that rail.
66.70, and obviously our new leader with plenty more gas in the tank. She's one of the skaters out there that's holding back a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, she's definitely can be in the top 3, no problem. There you see her jump all the way up into first, barely with breaking a sweat.
Coming all the way.
So next rider up next from Australia, we got Liv Lovelace.
Go ahead.
Yeah, only 19 years old. It's amazing how young the women's field is.
And dropping in a different position than pretty much everyone else. And kicking it off on that step up, going for the burial heel. See, this is where you need to stay composed, and you can hear the crowd there getting behind her, like, it's not over, get back up, get back in there. We know you've got some seriously good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could see, you know, a skater like Nyjah takes a fall and then just does the most amazing run. You got to not get phased on the fall.
Yeah, Liv getting well back into the mix, rolling in, getting that speed up for the kickflip.
Oh, hanging on to that nose grind.
Bit of a touch. And you know, with that panel of judges, they're going to be like, no, we're going to class that as a 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, if the truck touches, they've got to score it as something.
Yeah, you don't want to drag that nose on the frontside nose grind. Should be all truck, ideally.
But also, you can see just then in the background, that's deceiving. It's actually a little bit raised, so you've got like a little whoop between the takeoff and the landing of that ledge, so it kind of messes with your brain a little bit as you approach it.
All right, here we see some highlights. Nice crooked grind there. There's that nose grind. Leaning on the nose a little heavy, but
only just touched it. So 23.21, and a lot of work to be done, but you can see that Liv qualified quite high up the start list, so we know she's got some more amazing skateboarding to be done.
Yeah, 100%.
So we got one more rider before we take it back to the top of the heat with runs number 2. Lucy up next.
Yeah, coming out of France, and you hear the European support with the crowd. Nice front board.
Yeah, we're in the French-speaking area of Switzerland. Everyone getting really behind Lucy and stamping that board slide down the big rail. You can kind of see how scary that thing was from that shot.
Oh yeah, nice Smith grind there. Solid kickflip.
And I mean, this is what will stand certain skaters apart from others, the ones that squeeze in a trick on nearly every obstacle. So just doing the frontside Smith grind could bump your score up to beat someone else by 0.2 of a point. You know?
I always say it counts to do a cool quarter pipe trick here and there when you can.
Yeah, if there's a quarter there, I know it's a street competition, but if it's there, you're going to use it.
Yeah, you do a big old frontside flip or something, you're getting points.
So Rayssa way out there in that 66.70. 66.71 will take first place. Let's check out those replays before we find that score.
Yeah, for a little woman there, that was a nice big board slide. Solid 5-0.
Yeah,
I guess we wouldn't even say we'd say teen competitors. a lot of teenagers in this. It's amazing.
40.28 coming through. And I mean, that's worth saying. The age range is way lower than back in the day, right?
100%.
So we are taking it back to the top of the heat for runs number 2.
Back to Yumika Oda. Had a great first run.
Be interesting to see how she changes this run up. So starting it off with the front blunt.
She missed the front blunt.
But this is the thing, when you've got that solid full first run, you can afford to drop one, Chris.
Yeah, 100%. And she's got some solid tricks in her bag.
So spinning it back around with the axle stool on the quarter pipe, coming into that big rail.
There's that front feeble.
Wow. It would be so nice to have that trick locked down like that, Chris. Oh,
frontside crooked grind.
So there's
That's
not many
addition.
people doing front crooks like that on long ledges, and this is the women's competition. That's testament to the level of skateboarding we're seeing at the moment.
Ran out of time there, but solid run with a fall. She'll probably stick with that 58.07. We'll see.
Yeah, sitting middle of the
58,
pack there. Dare I say, anyone that's not in the top 3, knowing that the next heat are all the higher qualified skaters, they're going to be biting their nails a little bit.
Yeah, and it goes from the top of the competition. The top competitors skate at the end, so things get heated up with the heat number 2 for sure.
But you'll see that leaderboard start jumping around and reshuffling as we move through into the best trick section as well.
Yeah.
So each rider is going to take one of these run scores to join 2 of the best trick scores as well. Top 3 scores will count. And we're only taking 8 through to finals tomorrow, Chris.
That's a big cut.
So Paige back in, starting it off as she did before, but switching it up. Would have been great to see that.
Going for the 50-50 kickflip out.
But every time the board leaves your feet or it flips at all, it's high risk. But with high risk, high reward, like we always say.
Yeah, nice recovery with that Smith grind. We talked about that. When you fall, you got to stay back on like it didn't happen.
See that frontside 180 ollie.
Setting up for the switch.
Yeah, set up for that switch 50. Just overcooking it slightly there.
You got less than 10 seconds.
Sitting on a pretty solid run score.
Yeah, currently second.
Yeah.
you're looking good.
63.92. I'd say that's the cutoff for feeling somewhat safe, at least for the runs.
Yeah, but knowing who's coming up in heat number 2, Chris, you know, we've already got our Olympians in there.
Yeah.
16.43 coming in there. So, yeah, definitely sticking with that 63.92.
Focused. Wenhu Zhang.
I'm really interested to see where Zoe goes with this, because I said it before, I know what she's capable of, and I really want to see some of those big tricks that I know she can do.
Solid front blunt there. I love the hustle.
Yeah, no messing around. It's all or nothing. There's the 50-50. So it seems to be similar run to run number 1. Just maybe going to tighten it up a bit. Sneak in that last trick.
Yeah, that score, she's sitting on a sort of bubble position. This is that kickflip 50 I think she was going for.
Yeah, trying to switch that one up. And that's what the judges want to see. They want to see variation, and they want to see variety.
Ooh, pop there. We see that nose grind off the bump. That's new. We didn't see that in run number 1.
So missing that backside kickflip to see it off. Would have been nice to see that kickflip 50 or maybe 5-0. But I know she's got a mean kickflip backside tail slide as well, Chris.
Yeah, she does.
39.00, so sticking with that 60.39. Still a couple of points ahead of Yumika there. Good position. I'd love to see Zoe go through to the finals. So Beaulieu Yuto in next.
Miu is in.
Front
that
blunt.
seems to be the trick of that obstacle there, the front blunt. Bump to bar.
I mean, it's a long way to hold a front blunt slide as well.
Yeah, it is.
There's that composure, just dropping straight back into that kickflip. Cruising back all the way across the course.
Nice board slide.
Slipping
Getting a little lost there, went for a board slide.
Gonna call it there. That shows experience as well. There's no point wasting energy if you don't think you're going to improve on that first run score. Some skaters will use it as a little bit of training time as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Be like, maybe I'll try
Especially some of these guys, I mean, skating all the way from qualifiers into the quarterfinals. This is the third competition for them.
It's been a long weekend, and I mean, we had some bad weather. A big storm came in, and it was a complete washout for our first day of qualifiers, so we had to ram everything into yesterday. It was a long day of skateboarding into the night. So some of these skaters, like you say, this is the third competition they've done of this actual event, so they might be getting pretty tired. So Kemily up next, run number 2 for the Brazilian. Starting off on the same side of the course as before, and with that feeble grind.
Yeah, she's got to step it up over that first front score. Nice 5-0. No tail drag.
Yeah, I was just about to say, and I mean, that's what the judges will say, okay, cool, that's better than she did before.
Nice board slide. No slide. All right. Keeping it basic, but staying on.
Yeah, maybe just trying to get that solid run in.
Back lip just got away.
Classic back lip. Fall there. So 33.83. A bit of work to do in the best trick section, Chris.
Yeah.
Gonna need to get those higher scores, but
that's
it's
for
still
sure.
doable.
20.473. She's got to stick with that 33.83. That's a tough one.
So we're taking it round to fellow Brazilian, Rayssa Leal.
Nyjah, definitely one of the pace setters in the women's competition these days. Solid crooked grind. Nice kickflip. you can just see the composure in her skateboarding with the speed, the control, the confidence.
Yeah, so composed.
Wow! Back lip up on that thing is no joke.
Back across the driveway, keeping that speed up to the bump to bar.
Woo!
Wow.
Kickflip front board? The camera kind of didn't show the angle well, but I think that was a kickflip front board. Amazing.
It looked like it was nothing.
Oh, no!
So currently in that first place position, I think that would have been a high score, Chris, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially getting the kickflip frontside board slide in.
Yeah, a couple really difficult tricks in there. Fell off on the nose grind. Sitting on a 66.7, I think that's enough as long as she does something spectacular in best trick.
And it's worth saying, no one's landed their second run so far in runs number 2, Chris.
Yeah, we said consistency is contagious, and so is bailing, unfortunately.
So 49.84 there, but sitting up there in that first place position still. We got Liv Lovelace up next from Australia, dropping in on that big Volvo quarter again.
Yeah, and Liv was in a Volcom women's video in New York City in 2022. And that was a fun trip. I love New York.
Board slide taking it back down onto that side section. Missing the crook.
Just got get a little bit more on top of those crooked grinds.
Chris, how does it play with you, the mind game of not making a clean first run?
I would say it really messes with you, but like I said, some competitors like a Nyjah will have a fall in their run and still place in the 80s. You know, it just depends on your level of confidence. But if you're not a super experienced competitor, it can really throw you off.
So Liv just coming off of that front board.
When you bail, you've got to just completely reset and get that out of your mind.
Yeah, didn't happen. Don't know what you're talking about. Let's carry on with the run. But you can see bandage on the hand there and just grabbing her ankle a little bit after jumping off of that front side board slide. So it's really hard to carry an injury and kind of ignore that as well.
Yeah. You know, the main huge obstacle, the 9 stair, kind of shoots you straight down into the ground. So we've seen some people struggling with their ankles and landing everything on that obstacle.
Yep, for sure. So currently in 6th place, we've got Lucy dropping in for run number 2. Another 45 seconds on the clock. Kicking it off with the front feeble.
No.
See her grabbing her head there. No, can't believe it. But the crowd is screaming for her, yeah. Rightly so, she's amazing. Missing that axle stall.
It's crazy to see how much more skateboarding these girls have ahead of them.
Oh yeah, such a young age and getting up there, center stage in front of all of these people and their peers, trying to stay composed. There's no way I could have done that. I'd have fallen to pieces.
And you see pros these days lasting into their late 30s and 40s. Look at Andrew Reynolds, man. He has not slowed down.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean,
so that means people could have a 20-year career.
Yeah. I mean, then it's just really staying ahead of the injuries, isn't it?
Yeah, conditioning.
So 0.22.
And that will definitely be a throwaway.
So this is where we switch it up into best trick section. But let's check out our current leader, Rayssa Leal.
There's that back lip. See how on top of that crooked grind she is. Gap to lip. Our current leader for a reason.
Flexing on the way out there. And rightly so. Absolutely great skateboarding, and I wouldn't expect anything less from Rayssa. So as I said, this is where we switch over to best trick section. Each skater gets 5 attempts at a trick anywhere on the course. I'm presuming a lot of people are going to be hitting up that big rail and the stair set, but it can be anywhere. But before we get into that section, it's time to head down to the 3rd member of our team, Samantha Bruce, who is with US coach John Nicholson.
Hey Hi, John. Thank you so much for being here with me. So let's talk about Paige. She is the only American to be sandwiched in between the Brazilians and the Japanese. I mean, what's that like?
No, it's hard out here. The level of women's skateboarding right now is insane. So it's just, I know how much work she puts in, and now that she got that run down with that switch 50-50 that didn't want to work yesterday for some reason, but we got it now so we can breathe a little bit of relief, a little sigh of relief, and then get straight into it on the singles. So it's not a lot of time to rest on your laurels here. You got to get straight to it.
Wicked. And she obviously had an amazing first run, which put her through to second place. Her second run, not so much. What's the game plan? Is she worried a little bit? You guys thinking you're in a safe position, or are you going to try and come back in the best tricks?
Definitely got some plans for the best tricks, get some points back, and then little places where she can step up to try to get a little better run score if we do make it to finals. But yeah, we got a good game plan in place, and yeah, like I said, it was that switch 50 was the big thing we were worried about. So now that's out of the way, it's game time for sure.
Wicked. And obviously she's the only American to make it through to semis in this 2023 competition. Is that a lot of responsibility to burden for someone so young?
I think so, right? I mean, what we're seeing is the age keeps getting younger and younger out here. So 15, you know what I mean, being the top ranked American and be holding it down for all of us out there, you know what I mean? That is a lot of responsibility, but she's a great kid and she handles it well and she's killing it and just getting started. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for her.
Great, thank you so much and good luck for the rest of the comp. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sam, and thank you, John, as well.
Man, have you seen John Nicholson skate?
Yeah.
He is like pro level good.
Super good.
Props to him. Yeah, John.
And I mean, you got to know what you're talking about to ask some people to try certain things, right?
Great, perfect coach, man. If you follow his Instagram, the guy's no joke on a skateboard.
So they were saying they've got a game plan, and it, to me, I mean, it's weird to have a game plan at competition. Back in the day, your game plan was maybe, I don't know, you just go.
People didn't really have enough tricks unless you're like Tony Hawk, you know what I mean? But now, yeah, people's trick bags are so deep.
So
wow, over crooks. Yeah, we didn't see that in the run. See, that's smart. You want to show something that you haven't shown in your runs and surprise the judges.
Also, Chris, it's nice to get one attempt out of the way. You're like, oh, I'm a little bit worried about this trick. What if I don't lock in? And then if you do, you're like, okay, all or nothing, next go.
Yeah, 5 best trick attempts. That's plenty.
So here's Paige, straight in, solid front feeble.
Yeah.
Nice. Benihana dismount as well. Hey, great.
Our only USA competitor, John was talking about her. It's awesome. Nice start.
But like Sam said, is that quite a lot of responsibility? Is that, you know, a heavy burden to have on your shoulders? But looking at that frontside feeble, Chris, she's taking it all in her stride.
Yeah, this field of women's competition, they skate in so many contests. Got a lot of experience for how young they are.
So you can see here for first, 2.79. That will slowly increase. You'll see that leaderboard shuffle around loads, and Paige jumping up into first place with that 145.11. 21.19 coming through there for trick number 1. Heavy score for the front feeble, Chris.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
All of the other competitors that know have got a front feeble for that rail, they're going to say, okay, I'm up in the 80s. If I do that, cool, that's where I'll start. Zoe stamping down a back lip to kick things off. That's a good confidence booster.
Yeah, yeah, and you called it. I think they're building off difficulty, trying to stay on their board here.
But when you build up that base level of solid tricks, and you know, some people will go all or nothing, all in. You know, go straight out of the gates like I'm going to try my hardest trick, or it's I'm going to put a few tricks down and then maybe increase as I feel more comfortable on my board.
Nice clearance there.
Landing bolts on that, both feet directly above the trucks there. That's what the judges want to see. They want to see solid landings, no hand touches, no toes scraping or anything like that. Great score coming in, 78.19.
That's great.
Yeah, so we jump in straight up into that second place position. Looking comfortable, but don't get too comfortable. Some heavy hitters still to come. So far, we've seen everyone concentrate on those big rails, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's the feature, you know, that's the one.
Well, it is intimidating. We were up in the course earlier, and I was looking down at it, and I was thinking, you know what? I think the hubba would mess with my brain.
Yeah, it's not super high, but yeah, the hubba right behind it and those vertical slats makes it definitely tricky. You got to get really on top of that rail.
So trick number 1 for Miu. Going the same way that Zoe did. Saw that she got a hefty score. So yeah, I could do the back lip. I'll start there.
Yeah, it's a brain game in a way.
Well, we've seen that in the World Championships. Someone did a trick. Someone else was like, you know what, I've got that. That got scored really well. That's the way I'll go. And why not?
100%.
But like we said, when you qualify a little bit higher in the pack, you've got the luxury of watching everyone else skate. And you can also see what the judges are rewarding and not rewarding. So you can say, oh, okay, I know that that was up in the 80s with that first trick on the front feeble.
Yeah.
I'll start there.
And there you go, 77.81.
So 125.58 overall score and 3rd position. See Marco holding up our next rider, Kemeny out of Brazil.
Yeah, you called it. They're all going for that rail obstacle. Front board. Got away from her there.
Do you know what? Front boards, especially on rails, steep rails as well, it's really hard to commit and get that head over your shoulder. As soon as you lean forward a little bit, or you know, the other direction that you're traveling in, it'll slide away from you. And I know that there's a lot of wax on the course as well, and the wax helps the board slide and grind better.
Yeah, I mean, arguably front board could be harder than a backside lip slide, because backside lip slides, it forces you to be on top of the rail.
Sure.
Your position on your front board is kind of trickier at times.
So first trick for Rayssa, going front blunt, standing the landing down, landed a bit sideways, but came out of it.
I don't even know how she landed that. She kind of slid on the landing. She's like, what the heck? Experience.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. You're in a competition, especially when you're trying to get into that eight-person cut, or at this level of the competition, you just have to stay on.
Yeah.
You can't bail, because that now she's got 4 attempts at, you know, more hard tricks.
When we talked to Cordano Russell about that obstacle, he said, you know, it's pretty tricky because it's a bouncy landing, and your board has a tendency to bounce a bit when you put all that impact on it.
Yeah, and it throws you straight down into the floor. But be interesting to see this. Okay, 82.91. Dare I say that might have been a little bit higher if it was a cleaner landing.
Yeah, but that's
if
still,
she was to
that's
go
still
back
an amazing
and do that,
score.
She'd get a lower score for the repetition. But each skater has a chance to scratch one trick, so they could say, hey, I'm going to go back and do that better. So you might see that later in the competition, or maybe in finals.
There's a front board.
Yeah, Liv. Staying on the front board. Had problems with that in the run section, but coming and getting it done. See people definitely heading straight for that shade as well. It's heating up, not just on the skateboarding course, but out here in the Switzerland sun. 68.02 coming through. So Liv slowly climbing up that leaderboard of 91.23 as we take it over to Lucy. Trick number 1. Getting up with the rail. There's the board slide.
Okay.
Taking it chill. I think knowing that she could do that every time, maybe it was like, I just want to get my head back in the game after the not so good run number 2. So, you know, getting that confidence back up is probably a good
key.
head game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, solid board slide. Pretty much couldn't do it any better than that.
Yeah, 4 more attempts to step that up.
So 63.52 coming through and knocking Liv down that leader list. 103.80. So, yeah, looking good so far. And we taking it back to the top of the heat and trick attempts number 2. So staying with that handrail, wants to get this back.
Ooh, overcrooks. Dang it. Barely got away.
Yeah, could have been a bit of a baker maker, but just couldn't get back up. And the judges, the rule is, if you put your hand down and you wouldn't have made it if you hadn't have put your hand down, then that's
It's
a bail.
deduction.
Yeah. Oh, coming in, switch,
What?
front board.
Wow. Paige Hine. That is gnarly.
Now we're talking. Yeah, we saw people falling off a regular front board down the rail, and to come in and go, you know what, I'm going to do that switch right now.
She is
How'd you like them apples?
stoked. There's John Nicholson congratulating her. That was rad.
Paige has got a great switch frontside board slide, and you know, showing it just right there. Check out this replay. Cruising up, getting the shoulder round, but not too far to be able to bring it back out forward.
Totally controlled.
Yeah, really good landing on that. Super styly as well. Let's check out that score. I'm feeling it's going to be heavy. Yeah, there you go. 87.88 and jumping up into first place.
Yeah, I believe that's our highest best trick score.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Wow. And we are going on to trick attempt number 2 for Wenhui Zheng. Let's see this, Zoe. Coming in front side to the rail.
Oh, going for a salad grind.
That one for Eric Dressing.
Yeah, right? Just doing that trick back in the early 80s on quarter pipes, blowing everyone's mind.
Or Ben Schroeder as well, same
Ben
time.
Schroeder's got an amazing one. Props to Big Ben. Invented a lot of the modern day lip tricks we see on vert.
Yeah, and it's funny to see how they've come over to street as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Going for the front
Lip
slide,
slide,
blunt slide.
Smith grinds, Hurricane grinds, all the stuff Ben was doing 30 plus years ago.
So that one will be a scratch, 0.00 as we move around to Kemeny. Taking it over to the handrail again. Going front board.
Got away from her.
Looked like she maybe hit her knee a little bit there, but the crowd getting really behind her as well as we take it over to trick attempt.
I'm really
2-5
curious
for
to see where Rayssa takes this.
So coming in backside on this one. Backsmith.
Oh no!
Dare I say she was too chilled on it?
Yeah.
You saw her arms just down by her side. I mean, that's classic
She
style
rode away
for
for a good 2 feet there before bailing.
2 feet's not enough, Chris. Got to cruise away. But look how relaxed she is on this.
If anyone
Look at that.
could come back and land that trick, it's Rayssa.
But like you said, bit of a spongy landing. It's a steep rail as well. The drop-off's quite high. It's a combination that, you know, if that's going to happen, it will.
It's a difficult obstacle.
So trick attempt 2 of 5 for Liv. Whoa, I thought that was going to be first go then. But 3 more attempts to get that one done.
She's got to get a little bit more on top of those crooked grinds.
And we're taking it round to Lucy from France. So it's currently on that 40.28 and 63.52. Oh,
Nice.
Real styly frontside board slide there. Pretty much perfect execution.
Yeah, that's a very simple
score.
trick, but there's a lot of ways it could go wrong on that obstacle.
Yeah, we've seen it already, but I still can't believe we've seen the switch one as well.
Yeah.
66.88.
Not bad.
So improving on that first trick score and scratching that one out of the way. But knowing we need 2 scores on the board to bolster that run score as well. The top 3 scores will count. So Yumika
Get it,
back
Yumika.
in. Trick 3 of 5. There's
the overcrooks.
And that was the perfect time to do it. So there's still 2 more attempts at something even harder. But backside nose grind like that, so good.
Yeah, she's got some pressure because 2 bails, as you mentioned there, so she needs these scores.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier, we've got 6 skaters currently in the world rankings top 10, and they're 6 skaters from Japan. So they're all scrabbling away to get every point. And we're scoring down to 31st at this event, and even 10th place will get over 10,000 points.
Yeah, it's heating up.
88.83, huge score coming in there for Mika.
No one else has done that trick.
No, there's a reason for that, Chris.
Yeah, it's like the switchboard. You throw something out there that no one's seen, you're going to score good.
So taking it round to Paige's trick attempt, 3 of 5. Dropping in regular this time.
Going for surprising everyone with the back Smith.
Look at that smile as soon as she landed. Oh, so
See, I
didn't see the relief almost
I
on
didn't
that.
see her do that trick in practice and qualifying, so that's a smart competitive move there.
Yeah, for sure. And looking surprised, but Paige, you shouldn't be surprised. You're amazing at skateboarding. Currently in that first place position. Check that out.
Boom,
Dipping
right
it
on
down.
top.
Almost looked like it was going to over-rotate, but you see the toe in the wheel well there,
Yeah.
like just pushing down, and that's the control toe, just holding it in place. 82.74 and maintaining that.
Very solid score.
Dropping an 81.19, Chris. Dropping that score. That's what we're talking about, and it's still semi-finals.
That's great.
Yeah, Paige is going to be very, very happy with that and feeling very confident. And remembering, we've got some real heavy hitters coming up in heat number 2. So you want to have the highest score as possible. Oh, no way, not just getting back up on that front salad.
Yeah, just barely got away.
So the pressure's on, still 2 attempts, but with a 78 odd there for trick number 1. She's got some work to do there, but we know Zoe can as we take it over to
Miu.
Miu. You can see that landing is taking some people out.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
Now, it'd be interesting to see if anyone's going to say, you know what, maybe it's not my day today on that. I'm going to take it over to somewhere else on the course. Because
sure.
So far, we've seen every trick on the big rail.
That is true. We haven't seen any bump to the hubbas either.
I thought we
another
might
way
have seen
to skate that whole obstacle.
The gap to rail over the driveway. I thought someone would have definitely hit that, but not so far. So Kemily back in, feeble grind, stamping that landing down. I think Kemily, knowing that there's only 3 attempts just before she dropped in there, let's just get something on the board and then have 2 more attempts to try and get something else. But that gives you one last fall.
Yeah.
Before the pressure's really on for last attempt.
Yeah, I dare to say having 2 zeros in the run section is definitely going to hurt her chances of moving on.
71.51 coming through there. But still down there in 7th place. As we move on to Rayssa Leal. Coming in backside to the rail. We're going to see it this time. Backside
there it is.
grind. The way she, like I keep saying it, she landed that before she dropped in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the confidence.
The confidence, the focus, the flow, all of it.
And pure skill and ability. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rayssa was born to
You can
skate.
tell she's done that trick thousands of times.
Yeah, on bigger things than that. You know, which is saying something, because that's a big 9-stair rail.
Skates so confident she's like 15 years old, so.
82.95, seeing Rayssa jump into 2nd place with 232.56, but we'll be looking to drop an 82 and improve on that. That would be crazy.
I think Paige Hine and Rayssa are sitting okay so far for moving on.
So Liv struggling with that feeble grind. And now there's only 2 attempts to get that done. 68.02, only score on the board in the trick section.
Okay, next up.
So the pressure's on there, but not quite yet. You'll see panic stations go on if you've not got the 2 scores on as you come around to last trick. So Lucy up next.
Yeah, sitting on a couple 60s. She's definitely needs something big here. Front feeble.
Made that look super easy, and that got scored up in the 80s, 82, I think.
It's an intimidating trick for that obstacle.
Yeah, like you say, those vertical rails on there, it just screams like catch your wheel or your foot going
especially on feebles.
see coming up. Front side to the rail, locking it in with that back foot.
She's stoked.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
So waiting on that score to come in. 81.50.
Nice.
Yeah, great score there, and seeing her sat in 3rd place.
Hey, a couple more scores like that.
Yeah,
she might be in there.
So we are back to the top of the heat for attempt number 4, and like we said, we're seeing that leaderboard shuffle around like a pack of cards right now. Kickflip front board, first go like it was nothing, Chris.
Yumika.
Wow.
Shocking the crowd there.
That's the biggest cheer so far.
That's what it takes.
Maybe
the best trick is a shocker.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, the judges, I could hear Vanessa screaming it from here, probably. What? I think we're going to see a huge score come in.
That's going to be a game changer.
Like I said earlier in the run section, anytime your board leaves your feet or it flips, which it's got to do, it's got to leave your feet to flip, is high risk. But with that high risk is high reward, and that was really well done. Landed bolts on it as well.
Yeah, not to be a downer, but she's got 2 zeros for the run section, so it's going to be a tough battle. It's a numbers game.
So, waiting for that score to come in. All eyes on the board. 88.99.
Wow.
Very happy with that. Like you said, 2 zeros so far, and that only bolsters that 88.83, and rightly so out there in 1st place. 235.89. Heavy score there so far. As we move on to trick attempt 4 of 5 for Paige Hain. So yeah, nobody stepped away from this big centerpiece yet, Chris.
Not yet. That's the obstacle.
Apart from Paige right now. So coming in. Going for that switch feeble grind.
Yeah.
There's not many people out there doing that trick.
I got a buddy who does them on curbs. That's about it.
Shout out to all the curb skaters out there for keeping it real.
100%. Proving you can skate into your 50s.
The retirement plan.
Maybe even your 60s if you're Tony Alva.
For sure. So Wenhui Zheng, trick attempt 4 or 5. There's the salad grind.
A salad grind.
Really
Stoked.
needed to get that done.
Yeah, she really does. She's got a 78.19. She needs 2 makes.
The windscreen wiper. That's what Eric Dressen first called that trick when he invented it.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Just from the way that the board faces, it's like a normal 5-0, but you over-tweak it the opposite way than it feels comfortable. And way to go, skateboarders, making it even harder than it is for themselves. So it'll be interesting to see this score because no one else is out there doing that one. I'm not sure if anyone else is going to either. So you can see here coming in front side.
Yeah, it's such a subtle trick, you know. You can mistake it for a 5-0. But the way you stand on the truck, see that wheel catching on there, you got to be really on top of it for a dress and grind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar
grind.
way to a crooked grind where you lock it in with your heel, but you're going forwards. But this one, it's with your back foot going forwards. So I reckon the judges are scratching their heads on that one. They're taking a little bit of time to get it in, but 83.61,
wow.
Great score.
That's a game changer. She's got a 78.19. Needs to land her 5th trick for sure.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, no one's going to be too comfortable if they're outside of that top 3 as we move through to heat number 2. So definitely wants to step it up and get back into that top 3. Miu up next. Struggling on that one, and the pressure's now on for trick attempt number 5. 3 scratches in the middle of that. Started off with a 77.81, and it's all or nothing on the last trick, Chris.
Yeah, she really, the pressure's on, so to speak.
So out of Brazil, we've got Kemily Swiara, currently in 7th place. 2 scratches, and 171.51 for the last trick. It's trick attempt 4 of 5 now.
We missed something.
Not sure what happened there. Rayssa getting a little bit carried away, maybe.
Aha, a little bit of confusion.
Yeah, Rayssa dropped in, but it wasn't her turn. Not sure what's going to happen there. Having a word with our course manager.
Well,
Marco,
it was a bail, so she should be stoked.
So, yeah, jumping the gun a little bit there, getting a bit too carried away. And it's easy to get carried away at this level of skateboarding, Chris.
Yeah. Not to mention they're wearing basically the same outfit, so perhaps our starter got a little confused.
Bit of embarrassment there. So getting a 0 for that one. So they just decided to score that. Yeah, so 0 score for Rayssa. Currently in that 3rd place. So now we're taking it back to Kemmerly, not Rayssa.
She needs a couple makes here.
So coming in backside, back 50-50, just jumping away. Front foot not comfortable on that one.
Yeah, it looked like she was a little, almost wanted to go for a feeble and kind of moved to a 50-50 at the last second.
I mean, sometimes you can ride towards, especially like weird obstacles like that with all the bars there, and you're going towards it going, yeah, I'm going to try this, and then just before you pop, you go, nah, not into it, I'm going to do something else.
Like the old Miss Smith grind into lip slide.
Oh, classic. So we're taking it back round to Australian Liv Lovelace, currently way down there in 8th. Definitely needs to put the work in. 2-0 scores in the trick section. 68.02 you can see there for trick number 1. 2 last attempts at tricks.
She's getting focused. She needs 2 makes here.
Looking real focused, and do you know what? There's something to be said about projection, like picturing yourself landing a trick, how your body looks, and just having that confidence as you run towards something. Especially if you're scared.
That is definitely true. I've seen a few skaters stand at the top of that rail and just envision what trick they're going to try for a solid minute or 2.
For sure. You see some skaters come up, they do the Jamie Thomas run up, scrape the tail,
just
stop,
look at it,
look at the rail and go, you know what, you are mine. This is going to happen.
You got to have confidence on an obstacle like that, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, trick attempt 4 of 5 for Lucy.
Feeble got away from her there.
Clever play
almost
there.
Like she was going to go 180 out of it, but I don't think that was purposeful.
Yeah, just not getting that shoulder round. And I was going to say, clever skating there, knowing that a feeble grind got scored quite high earlier. Good way to improve that score. One more attempt for her left.
She's put on a good show.
So this is last trick attempts and back to the top of heat with Yumika Oda from feeble. Yumika is going from strength to strength and looking at dropping one of her 88 scores. Not sure if the front feeble is going to be an 88.83. I think we saw it get an 82 earlier, yeah, 81.
It's going to be hard to top that kickflip front board, that's for sure.
But also, sometimes there's no point blowing yourself out trying something ridiculous when you're sat in first place.
Yeah, she's, I'm going to guess that's going to be a great score.
But having said that, knowing who's coming up in heat number 2, you've got to try as hard as you can sometimes.
I would say that a frontside feeble is just so much more difficult than a backside feeble.
Oh, 100%. Your shoulder's in the way, everything. You can't see it as easy. 77.92 there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the dropped score, 77.92.
Still
that
currently
shows you the standard
our leader.
So we've got last trick attempt for Paige Hine. Starting off.
Got to stay on
side.
here.
Yeah, looking to be going towards that switch feeble grind again. Oh, you could see not quite got locked in early enough, and coming off early, all or nothing on trying to make that. But sitting in second place.
Yeah, she had the pop for it.
So 0 score coming in there for Paige as we take it down to last trick attempt for Wenhui Zhang, Zoe Zhang. So we got that 78.19 and the 83.61 for the salad grind. Interested to see where she goes on this. So coming in front side. Go for the nose grind. Heavy landing on that one. You can see how she got thrown into the floor. But she's called Beast for a reason. Just always gets back up and goes, you know what, I'm still in the game.
I want to say it's a relatively simple trick somewhat, but no one's done it. So I think that would have scored well.
Yeah, hadn't noticed that. Yeah, no one had done just a straight nose grind. So Miu, last trick attempt. Currently in that 6th place, so definitely wants to get it done.
No
way.
Yeah, we talked about it. That rail's tricky, man. It shoots you straight into the ground. So you got to almost begin your turn early to get off of it.
Yeah. So Brazilian, Kemmerly.
No switch up this time.
Yeah, hold it down, Rayssa. Currently in 7th place, so definite work to do. Needs to land this to be in with any chance. Missing the feeble. But great skateboarding there from Kemmerly. Smashed it yesterday in the qualifiers.
Yeah, we talked about how those vertical slats can hang up your wheel on a feeble grind, and there was an example of that. Got out of that bail great, though.
Trick 5 of 5 for Rayssa Leal. Currently in that 3rd place. Kickflip front board like it was a walk in the park.
Oh, man.
Wow.
She was completely unfazed through the entire run-up, the trick itself, the roll-away.
Yeah.
The level of confidence and smoothness there is, that was impressive.
Yeah, don't get put in a false sense of security there. That was a really, really difficult trick. So there's the kickflip front board.
You know, she's got such good pop. She hits like the last 2 feet of the rail.
Yeah, and Yumika got the 88 score, so it could mean that she jumps up into that 2nd place position. 86.99. Okay. But sitting in that 1st place position.
She is a smart competitor.
Yeah, great skateboarding, and she's definitely going to be happy with that. High score in the run section was that 66.70, so not as much as I'd expect, but if she gets through to tomorrow's finals,
she's so good the judges expect amazing skateboarding.
Yeah. So Liv Loveless, last trick attempt, coming into the handrail with the crook. Just landed a bit primo there.
She hit her head there.
So just 1 score on the board there, which will mean that she's ending up in that 8th place position, but still with a respectable 91.23 from only 2 scores. Lucy, last trick attempt. Got a 66.88 and an 81.50. Going to be wanting to lose the 60 score.
Oh,
missing the 50.
Feeble attempt.
So she's going to be staying with those 2. And in that 5th place position,
I think that is not going to be safe to move on.
Yeah, something bad would have to happen in the 2nd heat, and with some of those biggest names in skateboarding in heat number 2, it's unlikely, but
wow,
I
got to say, heat 1, that was amazing skateboarding for heat 1.
Yeah, such a high standard. Here are our standings. Liv down there in that last place position. Wenhui sitting in that mid heat position. I don't know if she's going to be very comfortable there. And then our top 3, Paige Hein, Yumika Oda, and 236.64 points is what is needed to beat that 1st place position for Rayssa Leal.
Yeah, and you see Paige is a full 12 points plus ahead of 4th place. So
yeah,
I'm going to say that's the bubble right there.